Hi, my magical creatures, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is I am going to talk about being misgendered and how to deal with being misgendered. Um, I'm pretty sure we've all been misgendered before in our life. Yes, mother gets clocked. So I'm going to tell you guys like what happened, and I'm going to tell you guys like tips and tricks on how to deal with it because it can be very frustrating. Definitely it really burns me up that yes, I get misgendered. And it was somebody that knew me back when I was like 12 years old. So, you know, um luckily it wasn't a stranger. I don't really get clocked by strangers, but people that knew me like from childhood. Yeah. So I'll tell you guys what happened, and then I'm gonna tell you guys tips and tricks on how to get, through it, over it, whatever. So yes. Okay. So what happened was is that my one of my family members is out of town, so they needed someone to take care of the animals that one of my family members have, and um, I have another family member. It's his girlfriend. She's known me since I was like 12 years old. Well, no, I'm 26. So, she basically misgendered me on when she was talking to my family member on the phone and calling me he and him and all of this stuff. And so, basically, I just feel like throughout the years, she's always said things to me, and it was just always rubbed me the wrong way. And it's a long story. I'm not gonna. That's gonna be a video for another time. But basically, once so me and her had to share the key to get in because you couldn't make a copy of the key. So once I met her and seen her, I confronted her about it, and I said, "Do you have a problem with me?" Of course, she denied and said, "No, of course not. Why would you even think that?" And I'm like, "Well, why did you misgendered me?" And all this stuff. And she was like, "Oh my God, did I really do that? I'm so truly sorry, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm just saying the stuff that you say." She's like, "I'm just still getting used, of like the whole thing and stuff like that." I'm like, "Girl, it's only been 6 years. I mean, how much time do you really need?" So, I mean, it's just annoying. It's really annoying. Like, so, and that's just one of many things she's said and done. But like I said, that's a video for another time. But I confronted her about it. She apologized, whatever. So I just thought, why not do a video on being misgendered and everything like that? Because I know like that's everyone that watches my videos probably got misgendered at one point or time in their life. So I'm here to help you guys get through it so that way you don't go off and put hands on somebody and then the police gets called and then you get charged with something. And I really don't want that for any of my magical creatures out there and stuff like that because I know it can be very hard and frustrating and stuff like that. So, okay. So, tip number one is being misgendered feels like being not seen or recognized. So, when I got misgendered, um, especially after I got all my surgeries, especially got my FFS, Adam's apple taken out, my boobs done, and then got my sex change surgery and had two surgeries on that. So, yeah, like, being misgendered definitely hurts because it's like I went through all this pain and, everything to be myself and be happy, and then you're still gonna misgender me. Like, now we got a problem, and now I feel very disrespected because I know I don't look like no man, nor, do I act like one or whatever. So, yeah, so like you gonna have to check yourself. So, yeah, so being misgendered just definitely feels like not being seen or recognized, and that's definitely how I feel about it. So, tip number two is learn to be fine with people not understanding and just don't deal with them. So, people that, like, let's say, like, you're at a grocery store or whatever, and someone like misgenders you, also, too, there was a video. I'm probably gonna do like a reaction video, but like, there was a trans woman that went into GameStop and then, like, she got misgendered and then she just flipped out on the guy at the register. I mean, flipped out saying it's ma'am and, all this stuff. And, she was kind of a diamond in the rough, like, she was clockable, but I mean, that's what you should not do is flip out on somebody. And, those times where I've got misgendered, like I went to Taco Bell, got misgendered, and then I flipped out. I literally got my food and then I came a U-turn back in there And then I said, are you the person that gave me the crunch wrap and the taco and stuff? He said, yeah. Okay, well, I got something to tell you when I pull up. So as soon as I pull up to the driveway, um, yeah, like the people were staring at me and stuff. And then I just kind of went off on him. I was like, it's ma'am, it's not no he and him. Like, you know, like you got me messed up because I went off because I was just mad. And I think it was the hormones too. And then on top of that, like when I go out, like people don't know me. People don't clock me at that time. So, when I got clocked by him, it made me really mad and upset. So, yeah, but basically, like if it's people like you don't have to see every day or people that you don't have to deal with, like someone at the grocery store call you a he and him, sometimes you just gotta let things slide and just let it go. Is it really worth getting in a fight over? Like is it really worth like your freedom if you blow up and put hands on them? You know what I mean? Like you have to really think about these things and stuff like that. You're just gonna have to just let it go. Now, if it's someone you see every day or like a family member, whatever, then like try to talk to them and have a discussion, but try to just be, even though I know it's hard, but just try to be understanding of them too, because like clearly they're having a hard time, saying it. But now if someone being rude and disrespectful, then I would just cut them off. So yeah. So tip number three is correct them, but if they don't want to listen, that's on them. So like I remember I used to work at Ratchet University, and there was a coworker that I had, and he would just call me he and him, and he was just a total a-hole. And then what really pissed me off was that I went to the school board and I got the university um I got gender neutral bathrooms. Like I actually went to the school board. I talked about my story. I talked about my sexual harassment incident in the bathroom. Yeah, so the school they finally allowed gender neutral bathrooms, and then this person literally had the audacity to use that bathroom, even though he's disrespecting me and calling me a he and a him and everything like that. And I've corrected him. My boyfriend at the time corrected him too. Was like, she's a she. It's not he. And just total. Oh, he just me thinking about him makes me like really disgusted and mad and upset. But you know, um, you just gotta ignore him. Just got to ignore him. That's all you can do. Stuff like that. So yeah, just you can ignore them. Also too, I usually miss like back then I used to be petty. I used to be petty LaBelle. I remember working in retail, like my coworkers, they would like call me he and him, so then I would just call them he and him because I worked with a bunch of girls, and I was like, oh, he will help you. Ooh, I mean she, and then I would just walk away. And then a lot of them would get hell, like really offended and stuff, and I'm like, now you know how I feel. So just be careful doing that because I don't really know. Like some places may not play that, and like you can get in a lot of trouble, stuff like that, for being petty. So, but I mean, the best thing you can do is just ignore them or, correct them. But if they don't want to listen, then just ignore the hell out of them and just leave me alone. So stuff like that. Tip number four is it's not your fault, it's society's fault. So also too, yeah, so this is like another thing I wanted to say that's like really important. It's like if someone calls you a he or him and it's like a stranger, sometimes subconsciously, like I remember this trans woman came into the store, and at first I thought she was a woman and stuff, but then when I really started looking at her, I saw like her bone structure looked very masculine. And so I just kept looking at her, and I accidentally called him a he, and it was a total accident. I did not mean to disrespect that lady at all. But I mean, subconsciously, if a stranger calls you a he or a him, sometimes they'd be like, oh, him, or I mean, she, you know what I mean? At least they try to correct themselves, but at the same time too, you have to understand like their subconscious and everything, um, with the bone structure and everything. Sometimes they subconsciously end up saying, the gender that you was, so like you can't really get mad and upset, especially like if they're trying, like I remember I had a close friend, she kept calling me he and stuff like that, and then she would just apologize, like I'm so sorry, like I'm still getting it, I'm still learning it, as long as they attempt to try to fix it, you know what I mean, they're doing the best that they can, and stuff like that. I also wanted to say too, like what else, like Yeah, society just we're just society's just now putting LGBT awareness, especially transgender stuff, and queer and pansexual and like all these things, like society's just now starting, with the social medias blowing up and stuff, like society's just now understanding it, so probably in the next like 20, 50 years, like I think everything's gonna be good. I hope it don't take that long, but that's just my estimate on it. So yeah. Um, Next tip: when you're being misgendered, it's the subconscious saying you're he or female. It's not them, like it's male or female. So like I just said, like subconsciously they may say the wrong, what I'm saying, the wrong gender, but it's because it's their subconscious, and they're looking at you, and they can kind of piece the facial structure, the bone structure, and all that, or the voice and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that. So the next tip is people purposely misgender you. It's not okay. Just see how they are related to you. Like a random person at a grocery store, just ignore it. Family members and friends, stay away. So, so if you're at a grocery store and someone misgenders you, I would just ignore it. I would just ignore it and walk away. I would look at them like they're dumb. Like, no, you're stupid because clearly looking at me, I am female. You just look at them like they're the slow ones and they need to catch up. And that's what it is. Now, friends and family, like if they're purposely misgendering you and stuff, you know what? It's totally okay to take a hiatus from them and take a big break. Because you're transitioning and that's already emotionally enough. And the last thing you need is to be around negative people that are being disrespectful and rude. So the best tip to deal with people that you have to deal with that are misgendering, just ignore them and literally just stay away from them and cut them off. And until like they realize like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I'm really sorry that I was rude to you. Blah 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 blah. So you can go ahead and just do that. Next tip is be okay with you. As long as you're okay with yourself, I know words hurt and everything like that. Just be okay with you. Focus on yourself. Be okay with you, and just know that you got this, and you know who you are at the end of the day, and that's all that really matters. Who cares what other people think? Forgive them. Forgive them, Father, for they shall not know. They shall not. They don't know, or whatever how that saying goes. Forgive them. It's hard. It's better said than done, but you just have to forgive them and just let it go. Let it flow. Let it go. Like just forgive them and let it go. So stuff like that. Next tip is that it's society's fault. So again, society's just now putting awareness out there for trans and queer and gender fluid and stuff like that. So these are all of my tips and tricks that I have to kind of like how to deal with being misgendered and stuff like that. So definitely if this video resonated with you, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, like, and don't forget to subscribe. It's a free way to help you grow out. And I think I should have did that in the beginning, but oh well, I just did it now. But don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay magical.